Okay, so if your business is really serious about decarbonization, there is one step you absolutely cannot skip. We're going to walk through how you can measure your carbon footprint using what is basically the global gold standard.
So, your company has decided to do it. You're going to take action on your climate impact. And that's fantastic. It's a huge step. But it immediately brings up a much trickier question.
And that's the big one, right? The ambition is there, but the actual path forward can seem, well, incredibly complex. Overwhelming, even. The good news, though, is that there's a very clear starting point, and it's all built on one powerful, common-sense idea.
This right here. This is it. This is the foundation for any effective strategy, whether you're talking about business or climate action. Before you can set any goals, before you can make any real changes, you have to understand the scale of what you're dealing with. And that simple principle leads us directly to the solution. So how do we start measuring in a way that's consistent, that's credible, and that's understood all over the world? Well, you need a universal language. And that's where the GHG Protocol comes in. At its core, that's exactly what this is. You can think of it like the generally accepted accounting principles, but for greenhouse gases. It's the rulebook that makes sure everyone is counting their emissions in the exact same way.
And listen, this isn't some standard that just popped up overnight. It was developed and is maintained by two of the world's leading sustainability organizations. That gives it a ton of credibility and authority.
And this is where it gets really cool. Because using this protocol isn't just some environmental checkbox, it's actually just smart business. It builds trust with your customers and your investors, it lets you see how you stack up against your competitors, and it helps you turn these vague goals into real concrete targets you can actually hit.
So how does it actually work? What does it look like on the ground? Well, the protocol gives you a really clear, manageable blueprint. Let's break down the 5 steps that'll get you from feeling stuck to taking real action.
See, it lays out this clear, logical journey in 5 simple steps. It's designed to take any company from that initial stage of figuring out what to measure, all the way to confidently sharing its results with the world. Let's just quickly walk through each one.
Okay, first things first, you have to draw a circle around what you're actually measuring, right? Are we talking about all of your global offices or just the ones in this country? Does this cover the trucks you own or the ones you lease too? Defining these boundaries right up front is absolutely critical if you want your measurement to be consistent and credible. Next up is data collection. And let's be real, this is usually the most intensive part of the process. You're gathering what's called activity data. That means things like tracking the fuel used in your company cars, digging up the electricity bills for your offices, and, this is the big one, getting data from your suppliers for all the goods and services you buy. Now, once you have all that data, the math is actually surprisingly simple. You just multiply your data, say the gallons of diesel you used, by a standardized number called an emission factor. And boom, that gives you your total emissions. It's that same basic formula, just apply it across your entire business. Now this step is super important. You have to plant a flag in the ground. You choose a typical representative year of data, and that becomes your baseline. From now on, every single reduction you make, every change, is going to be measured against that starting point. And finally, you report it. You package up all this amazing data into a clear, transparent inventory. And, to really build trust and make sure everything is accurate, getting that report checked over by an independent third party, that's definitely the gold standard. Okay, so you've done it. You went through all 5 steps. You've defined your boundaries. You've crunched the numbers. Now what? What's the real payoff here? Well, this is where all that hard work completely transforms your approach to climate strategy. Honestly, the transformation is like night and day. You go from having these fuzzy, abstract conversations and vague goals like, we should be greener, to having a solid, data-driven strategy. For the first time, you know exactly where your biggest emission hotspots are. And that means you know exactly where to focus your efforts for the biggest possible impact. So, you've got the roadmap now. Those 5 steps are clear. But as we just saw, step 2 has a massive challenge hiding inside it for most companies. How do you collect reliable data from hundreds or even thousands of different suppliers? Yeah, how do you actually tackle that? Well, that's the next big piece of the puzzle.